Hello, Tantric Travelers. Welcome to the Leo birthday party and everybody's pick a card. Happy birthday, Leo. I'm just lounging with my feline companion here today, so he might want to be on camera, he might want to be watched, just as Leos do have a tendency to enjoy. This is my friend Loki. He's trying to get a sip of my iced chai right now. Loki, what are you doing? Every time the camera gets turned on, there's a cat in the vicinity who needs to be recognized as the star that he is. Loki. I gave him a little sardine treat, so I think he's being extra kind and grateful, which is always nice. My beautiful Pantera Onca. So yes, this is the Leo birthday party, and today, even though it is very late in the Leo season, we are celebrating all things leonine, all things feline. It's so funny. So I wanted to talk a little bit about you, Leo. If you have your sun, your moon, your Venus, your Mars, your rising in Leo, then you, like me today, love to lounge. You love to relax after your work is complete, and Leos are very intent upon keeping the golden channel of abundance as open as possible in their lives. Loki. Okay, Loki really wants to be. He's very interested in my iced chai, which I made especially for the Leo birthday party. So I guess I've never seen him do this before. It's quite funny. He's hopefully not going to knock the camera over. Loki, come here. Come and cuddle. Come and cuddle, Loki. So we were having our own little Leo birthday party for Loki yesterday, and I gave him some sardines, which apparently he really likes. Could be some kind of a feline aphrodisiac, perhaps. And he actually brought me a mouse a couple hours later. And I could hear this squeaking, and I thought he was playing with a mouse toy. But when I opened the door, Loki, come on. Come on, darling. When I opened the door, Loki was meowing with his mouth full of mouse. And I've learned a long time ago, never interfere between a feline and his prey or her prey. So I left Loki to his devices, and I'm not sure what became of the mouse. I didn't find it this morning, so maybe it got away. But we mustn't forget that in spite of their beauty, in spite of their seeming dependence upon us, even the domestic cat is at heart a hunter, and at heart a fierce beast, a fierce predator. And this is crazy. He seriously never does this. I mean, we have a little Leo party every day, but he really wants my iced chai. So I made this chai especially for the Leo birthday party, and I made it. He won't leave the chai alone. I made it from this Bengal spice chai, and he's really into it, apparently. I made it from the Bengal spice chai. Oh my gosh. And now he's like going crazy for my, this is really funny, guys. He's going crazy for my cat charm, which is a cat's eye, tiger's eye bracelet with a jaguar head on the bottom. Oh my god, Loki. He's losing it. I mean, he's just being his kitty cat self. He's just being his true feline self. And that's a beautiful thing. So, thank you, Loki. Maybe we can continue talking about the feline. Loki. Like every Leo, Loki is the star of the show, and he takes his own sweet feline time doing what he's doing. And thank you for exiting stage left, Loki. He might be about to jump onto a chair, I'm not sure. So yes, I've got my jaguar head charm. Very cool. My tiger's eye bracelet attached to it, and apparently it makes quite an attractive kitty cat toy. And the Bengal spice chai, which I'm also drinking with Loki's help. Thank you, darling. Uh-oh, now I'm pulling out the tarot cards and he's gonna like this even better. I assume. So happy birthday, Leo. Leo rules the heart and the hair and the teeth and the nails. And Leo, some of the countries that Leo rules, some of the places, the most beautiful places, most blessed, ancient, powerful places. India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Italy. Zanzibar in East Africa, in Tanzania. I think there's quite a few East African places that are ruled by Leo, and I had the pleasure of visiting Zanzibar. It's such a beautiful island. Loki's still trying to drink my chai, which is hilarious. I don't blame him, because I actually made this chai especially for a Leo birthday party drink. So it's iced Bengal spice chai with chocolate almond milk, and then I floated a foam on top of the ice, and I sprinkled hand-crushed cacao nibs on it. So it's very special, and it's just for you, Leo, so happy birthday. And besides the beautiful places that Leo rules, it is ruled by the sun, by our solar parent, Re. And as a priestess, I serve the beautiful Egyptian goddess Sekhmet Re, who is said to be the daughter, the counterpart, the courtesan, the feminine aspect of the solar energy. So I am always in peak enjoyment during Leo season, and it's a very activated season spiritually as well, with the Lion's Gate portal, which is pretty much from the new moon through to the end of the lunar cycle, which is today, the 22nd of August. And this portal also signifies the rising of the star system Sirius. And this is starting to happen near the end of the month. And in the middle of the night, you can see Sirius rise from below the horizon. and enjoy the beautiful light of that mysterious star system, which ironically brings us the dog days of summer. But it is welcomed at this time of year in along the Nile and in the country of Egypt, because the rising of Sirius brings the inundation of the Nile River and the Nile Valley and Delta, and it blesses the beautiful Nile Delta with the inundation that brings the seeds and turns the desert to green. And Egypt is such a beautiful, powerful, fascinating spiritual home for so many people and so many faiths on this planet. And when I think of the lion and Africa, the continent of Africa, and my journey from South Africa all the way to Egypt about a decade ago, it really calls to mind, of course, the Leonine energy and power, and it always opens up my heart because it was such a golden time for me to get to know a little bit about that beautiful mother continent of ours as human beings, as beings who share our planetary parent. So Africa really resonates to me as being in the energy of Leo. There are famous leaders. The Leonine energy is very courageous, it's very proud, and that can be positive and negative. So it can take on in an individual's personality, with placements in Leo, it can take on both the positive celebrations or idealizations of the traits of the ego and the solar plexus chakra, and it can also take on the negative distortions of the ego, which we as all humans, every single human, to greater and lesser degrees and extents, and that varies throughout a lifetime usually, experience both the essence and the necessity and the enjoyment and the solar power of light consciousness, which the solar plexus chakra emanates, and the power of living and the preservation of life, which the solar plexus emanates and sends out and then brings back to us as the fulfillment of our desires through our thoughts, words, and actions as we manifest our reality. So every human experiences that to greater and lesser degrees, and every human also experiences the negative ego distortion, which can be, I would say the extreme result would be like a very destructive kind of narcissism, but it could also fluctuate, into like a very childish sort of way of being, like an immature way of being, an immature approach to achieving one's desires, or a very unbalanced kind of willfulness that we often see in small children because their egos are being activated when they are toddlers in a powerful way. And then we see it again when people are in their adolescent stage because they're experiencing a reignition of hormonal activation, and they kind of experience a second childhood then maybe. And we also see the ego really at play in, it can be during the midlife hormonal shift. So you can see that in men and women when the hormonal shift occurs around the age of 50, in men and women both. And we just see it in different ways, and it's, kind of more discussed and infamous amongst the feminine because our hormonal cycle brings many more outwardly noticeable changes in our physical selves, but masculine beings or male beings also experience the same. And we may see, a lot of progress at that time and a lot of maturation on a spiritual level, on a mental level, on an emotional level, and we may see the opposite. And we do see the opposite. What else? And an example perhaps of the beautiful sort of qualities of ego, or a different kind of egoic balance may also be seen in very elderly people when when their solar light is dimming a little bit, and it only kind of it emanates a little bit kind of more like the dappled light between the leaves in memory, and in joy, and in looking at photographs, and in listening to music, and this kind of nostalgia for the egoic or solar plexus light is also an experience of it. And every night, every single night on the planet, when it gets dark and the sun sets and we can no longer visually see the sun, we experience the unconscious and subconscious experience of the sun's presence, because the sun is not leaving, the earth is simply turning, and it is shining on someone else on the other side of the planet, and we still may perceive and feel that light and have confidence and faith that the return of the light in the morning is imminent, no matter how dark the night is. And the sun is our beautiful star, and Leos are definitely stars as well. My niece is a Leo, one of my beautiful nieces, and she is I've noticed, observing her as she grows into a young woman, has always been very at home in her physical body, and she's a performer, a dancer, an acrobat, an athlete, and she's very lovely. She's also extremely intelligent and ambitious in her academic pursuits, and I'm very proud of her. She turned 16 this year, and if you're watching this, you know who you are. Happy birthday, kitty cats. I love you. And other important Leos, I have some friends who are Leos, a couple former partners, and it was very interesting being with them and being in relation to them, because I did really notice a beautiful childlike energy when it was being exalted, when the Leonine heart was being exalted, generosity, great hospitality, very, very dedicated to the work that they do, passionate about the work that they do, passionate about our partnership and our time together. Physically, in bed, Leos are kind of renowned for having, first of all, a great appetite for pleasure, and second of all, a great virility, or a great hunter's heart, where they can be very insistent and ambitious in the bedroom as they are in the rest of their lives. And of course, lions and big cats are known for their roar, as well as their growling and their purring. So Leos can often have really interesting, amazing, projective voices that they use in different ways. And that can be very softly, very sensually and seductively. And it can also be, with a power and a vocabulary that is impressive and gets the point home. So that's pretty cool. And some famous Leos that I read about. So if you're thinking about like Leonine hearts as being leaders' hearts, and the female lions, of course, are the hunters, and the male lions are the protectors of the pride, and also the progenitors, both. But the female lions, they're very strategic, organized, and the alpha female, if that's what you want to call it, the lead female, although it's a cooperative hunting group of predators, the lead female will definitely set the strategy for the pride when they're hunting at night. And that's another thing, if you think about the feline energy as being solar, and the fact that many felines, apart from jaguars and tigers, do actually hunt almost exclusively at night. And that can be in relation to the temperature of the places that they live, of course, where it's too hot to hunt in the day, but it's also advantageous and strategic as far as minimizing other predators who are working at that time of day. So it's very interesting. And I'm sorry if I'm not looking at the camera directly, and constantly I'm kind of thinking and talking, and my eyes are not the best. I'm not actually a kitty cat that way. Maybe I should put my glasses on. Good idea. That is a little better. So some other famous Leonine leaders, very interestingly, there are several very famous ones, Mussolini and Fidel Castro. So we have maybe a little more of the distorted solar Leonine character seen in those two, perhaps, depending upon your political position. And we also have Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. So depending upon your views, perception of media, where you live, who you are, you may perceive that as being maybe on the more favorable side of the Leonine energy presented as, in a leadership role. You may or you may not, and that's fine, but I'll put that out there. One interesting Leo that I loved hearing and reading about was Halle Berry, that beautiful actress who actually played Catwoman. And I remember when I was visiting Luxor in Egypt, and when I went to the Temple of Karnak, where the Temple of Sekhmet is located, but not well known to those outside of her devotees and priestesses, but it's very beautiful, and there's some very interesting pieces, sculptures still remaining there, and there are still devotees of Sekhmet alive in Egypt and all over the world today. So Om Sekhmet Sekhemre, Om Sekhmet Sekhemre, Om Sekhmet Sekhemre. So yes, when I went there, I turned on the television in my hotel room, and Catwoman starring Halle Berry was playing the morning that I was to visit the temple. And that day, unbeknownst to me, it was a beautiful full moon evening and night in Luxor, and I arrived after a 3-month journey from Cape Town to Egypt, wherein I finished my journey, almost finished, by sailing up the Nile from Nubia. That day, the day that I arrived, which was not planned, it was a very, kind of just going with the flow journey. The day that I arrived was actually the feast of Our Lady Sekhmet. So I was very, very moved, and I was welcomed by the priests, by her priests, and invited to attend a special dedication for Lady Sekhmet. And they thought I looked like her for some reason at the time. I don't know why. But yes, so the parts of the body that are ruled by Sekhmet, I think I already mentioned, are ruled by Leo. The hair, of course, the teeth, the eyes, the nails, and the heart. And gold is the element that rules or is ruled by Leo, of course. Gold, the color of our sun. Platinum as well, and the color purple. So I have my purple flower on one side here today, and the color purple is that royal or sovereign color. And sovereignty is really, the seat of sovereignty is really in our hearts. The seat of our divine human sovereignty is really in our hearts. And yes, and purple represents sovereignty and royalty. So we are all the kings and queens of our own destinies. And happy birthday, Leo. What other Leos? Oh, I was thinking of male Leos who I love. Jason Statham, who kind of reminds me of like a jaguar or a leopard, and Jason Momoa. And frankly, he looks like a lion. He is a very striking man and very magnetic, and Leos also have that magnetism, whether they are masculine or feminine. What else? What else? Well, it's one of my favorite times of year. I'm in the Northern Hemisphere now. I'm in Canada, and the weather is so beautiful, and the sun was so hot the other day when I was trying to film that it literally shut the camera off on my device, so I had to wait. And today it's raining, so that's why I'm inside today, but I normally love to be outside enjoying the full scorching sun of the Leo season, and now apparently we have some of the rains that Sirius brings. So I'm very grateful. The garden is lush and luxuriant, and the season, it's the time for the season of loving, my friends, and Leos are a beautiful demonstration of our human capacity to open our hearts and just love as children, as courageous hunters of our destiny, and as the beautiful players of the theater of life. So happy birthday, Leo. Here's to you. I have no idea where Loki went, but I guess he had his moment in the sun. So happy birthday. I'm still going to drink my chai. And I want to do a pick a card reading for everyone today. And I was thinking it could be about pride and courage. So I'm going to ask, for what are your ancestors and guides most proud of you? And I'm going to ask, how and where may you conjure some courage in your life right now? So for what are your ancestors and guides, and that can also include, your living guides, your friends and family, and even your higher self. So for what are your ancestors and guides most proud of you, and where and how would it be good or kind to yourself, wise to yourself, to show courage in your life right now? Okay, so that is the question.